What's going on, everyone, and welcome to Movie Emporium's TV review of The Stand, Episode 3, Blank Pages. Now, before we begin, hey, if you like this channel, awesome, hit the subscribe button to join Movie Emporium, hit that notification bell at the top to find what's coming next. If you like this video, as always, hit that like button, awesome, and comment below on any video that you watch, including this one. Okay, so where to begin on this episode? This episode was okay. It was average. It was another just kind of below the bar. I don't know why I'm still watching the series. Maybe I'm just watching it to get views for, my reviews. I have no idea. But I will definitely say that this is still better than the first episode. Not by much, but it's an episode that's giving us more characters. We have finally Greg Kinnear as Glen Bateman coming in. We finally have Brad William Henke as Tom Cullen, which I'll get to in a few minutes. And basically this is showing what it is like for the people of Boulder to have some kind of backstory, which hasn't happened yet for the most part. We see more of Nadine Cross's backstory, more of Amber Heard, who I really don't have any interest in this character anymore. She's not fun to watch. She's kind of a bland, boring, kind of superfluous character. We see her at a young age and some young kids playing I think it's Ouija or something like that, and of course the Ouija board goes crazy because Randall Flagg is messing with it, and it says Nadine Cross, my queen, and stuff like that. So, and she gets the stone that of course that Randall Flagg's been given to everyone. And then we see, of course, we'll see Stu Redman and Glen Bateman meet, as well as Kojak. Kojak's the dog. I don't really have any problems with this stuff. This is also a point where Stu Redman finally meets Franny Goldsmith and, of course, Harold Lauder. They meet in some kind of industrial area. It looks like a place where people buy wood or something like that. And they have their little, back and forth. And Harold Lauder, as it was in the book, gets very, very angry and gets very, very jealous of Stu because Stu's a good-looking man. And you can tell Fran is kind of attracted to him. And, he's very confrontational as he was in the book. But once again, it's just a very quick, not very interesting moment. It really isn't. These three characters are some of the most, bland, banal characters in the show. I don't know what they did. Basically, the only things we're getting from James Marsden as Stu Redman is the simple fact that he's kind of the leader of this group of individuals. But unlike Gary, I keep going back to the 94 series because I really felt in 4 episodes, they were like an hour and a half long each episode. I really felt that we got some true character development, that even though they had to shorten the book and shorten into the series, was it 6 hours or whatever it was, it really felt like a whole series. There was Kathy Bates was in that series when the Crafton Trip stuff started to happen. And it started to go down, so we saw a little bit of that. We see none of that in this series at all. The stuff that's the most interesting is the Larry Underwood and Nadine Cross and Joe, and we see bits and pieces. We hear about what happens to the Heather Graham character, the Rita character, and she killed herself and stuff like that. It's so kind of off the cuff and just kind of whatever. But we see Larry singing "Baby, Can You Dig Your Man," and Jovan Adepo has the most scenes in the entire series. It's almost like they're trying to make up for what he didn't get in the original series, the original Larry Underwood. And I don't know. I feel like Nadine Cross's character in this is just more of a conduit for Randall Flagg. There's no real substance to her character. It feels like Amber Heard is just a blank slate of nothingness. And it's the same thing with, like I said, with James Marsden. I like Greg Kinnear as a hippie in this episode. I really do. I think he's having the most fun of the entire crew outside of James Marsden and Owen Teague and stuff like that. But we see a scene where they're at I guess they're at his Glen Bateman's place maybe or something like that, and he's smoking a doobie or whatever he's smoking, weed or whatever it is, and they have their little nice confrontational back and forth and stuff like that. Not confrontational, but just a back and forth, and it's a nice little setup for what the Glen Bateman character was always a fun character to watch in the original series. It was played by the guy who played Mr. Hand in Fast Times at Ridgemont High, and I think that's another thing. I think the characters in the original series are also more interesting, more relatable as well, the characters that played them. But like I said, we get a little bit of the eventual conclusion to Nadine and Harold Lauder's story, especially in Boulder, with them going to, of course, eventually end up in Vegas, except Harold Lauder ends up dying and committing suicide and stuff like that. And I don't know, Harold Lauder's character is such a weird character. I don't have any problem with what Owen Teague's doing, but it's just every time you focus on him and Franny Goldsmith and Stu, it just feels like the show just gets bogged down and so on and so forth. So it's real bad. But we get more. Finally get some Nick Andros stuff. That Henry Zaga, who I actually looked up, he was in New Mutants, who played the Sunspot character. And you look at him in this series, you look at him in the New Mutants, and he looks nothing alike. He looks like he's like a completely different person. But I don't know how much they're going to dwell on Nick Andros' backstory, but he gets beat up by a local bar guy, gets his eye messed up, and I think he actually loses his eye and stuff like that. And I love Nick Andros' character. I think he's the heart and soul of this entire series, for the simple fact that he can't talk and he can't hear anything, so he's deaf and dumb. And he's a guy that has so much emotional resonance in the entire series, and the way he dies is so sad and so heartbreaking to watch. But once again, I don't think there's any substance there. I don't think Henry Zaga's given anything to do. He is the kind of the watch over for Mother Abigail Fremantle, and when he meets Mother Abigail, it's so awkward. It really is. I love Whoopi Goldberg to death, but she is so awkward in this series, and it's just you watch how she gets a little frisky and a little like mean with the people, and she acts like she's like like an angry Southern woman or something like that. I don't understand why they made her character the way they did. I think she is very miscast and misplaced in the entire series. And I did like a little bit of what she had with Nick Andros, where she talks about how the world has ended, so these people have to create their own new stories, similar to like Frodo in Lord of the Rings, where there's all these blank pages and you have to create that story. But what I always found interesting is she wants Nick Andros to be his eyes and ear, or his mouth and ear, or her mouth and ears and stuff like that. And it feels like everybody in the town is just really angry at Nick. And I think he's, like you said, I think he's like the sweetest character. He's the guy that actually tried to help the guy that was, punched him and basically destroyed his eye. And he's just a guy that gets bogged down and killed for just it's such a heartbreaking story. But I don't know, I didn't like where I saw Whoopi Goldberg's character, the Mother Abigail. I don't like what's going on there. I don't like how she acts towards the Desians and stuff like that. And it's just a weird moment. It really is. And then we get to Tom Cullen. Now, I've been kind of worried about how they're going to handle Tom Cullen. Brad William Henke is a good actor, but wow, there is some really bad stuff going on with this character in this series. If this is the way his character's going, it's a little rough. It really is. Brian William Henke is not right for this part. It's really strange to watch somebody like Bill Fagerbakke take over the role in '94 and do such a fantastic job with it, make him like it feels like a true simpleton character. But once again, like Henry Zaga, there's no kind of character development. Basically, Brad William Henke repeats the same thing over and over and over. And I'm not trying to disregard his ability to act, but it's really, really rough. It's one of the worst things I've seen in this series so far. I was cringing and shaking my head. I was doing this when he was talking, because it doesn't feel right. Nothing about his character in the 4 minutes that we see him feels right. And I'm not saying that later on in the series he's not going to get some kind of redemption, but if this is all we're going to see, which I don't think this is all we're going to see, but this is all we end up seeing of Nick Andros and Tom Cullen's backstory, and we don't see any of the kind of travel that they go on, I'm going to be truly disappointed, because Nick Andros and Tom Cullen are my favorite characters in the entire series outside of Randall Flagg. And Nick Andros, Henry Zaga, is pretty well cast. I think he does a pretty decent job for what he's given. But Brad William Henke is not good. It is not good at all. It really feels like he's kind of making fun of mentally challenged people. It feels like he is just kind of laughing in their face, and I don't think that's his prerogative. But it really is kind of disturbing when you watch it. He just shows up at the hospital because they completely changed around where Nick Andros ends up being. There's nothing with the cops in this. Like I said, I understand they have to break stuff down. They have to take it down a little bit, but there's just this one scene in the hospital where he takes care of the guy to beat him up, and all of a sudden Tom Cullen just pops out of nowhere. Starts, I'm Tom Cullen. I'm 42. I can't read. I am mentally challenged, and it's just like, okay, I guess, but whatever. So it's not good. It took the episode down a lot. And then we get into the stuff with the man who comes from Vegas. I can't remember what his character. I don't know if this was a character that was made up for this episode, but this Asian gentleman pops up in a Lamborghini, and he has been crucified on a cross, and it's really disgusting, disturbing when they show the crucifixion marks. But he has been brought there by Randall Flagg to basically give a message to Abigail Fremantle in the city of Denver that he's going, or city of Boulder, sorry, that he's going to destroy Boulder and the people that live there. And the scene where we see the black eyes and we see the guy kind of come to life through Randall Flagg and stuff like that is almost laughable. It really is. I didn't know whether to be mortified by what is going on or just laugh the whole time, because it is really weird and off place. It's strange. And I'm like, okay. That's this whole entire episode. There's just some weird stuff going on. It doesn't make any sense. But yeah, like I said, it has this moment of creepiness, but it's so bad. And like I said, the Randall Flagg stuff is not bad. We see him like float from the ground and stuff like that, which is really cool. And I do like what Alexander Skarsgård is doing for Randall Flagg, but once again, he is not given a lot to do. This is the problem with the series. You're still all over the place. Once again, we never see anything of the captain trips. We see a little bit of flashback stuff, but it takes place in Boulder till whenever Harold Lloyd and Nadine Cross blow up the meeting that they end up having. But there's really nothing in Las Vegas. Where's Nat Wolff's character at? Where's Randall Flagg? There's nothing there. It's like 3 episodes in and we got nothing. So it's just such a mess. It really is. It's going to be like this every single week. We know how it's going to play out. I don't think it's, like I said, I don't think it's going to get any better. I'm going to keep complaining about these characters, which I probably should just accept that they're just not well written characters. They're not well directed or well scripted. It's such a strange thing to watch sometimes. Stephen King, which I love to death, just kind of sign off on these stories and let people kind of do with whatever they want to, because this is a series that, especially like with It Chapter 2, where has so much promise and it just didn't deliver at all. And it's such a shame. It really is. But I mean, I don't know. I'm so kind of frustrated with this whole entire series. I don't like anything that's going on. Like I said, there are some decent moments in there, with like Henry Zaga and stuff like that, but it's just, that's Blank Pages. That's the 3rd episode of the series. So, but yeah, that'll be my take on this episode. I'm giving it a 5 out of 10. It's a bland episode. So anyways, let me know in the comments below what you think of this episode. Did you like it? Did you not like it? What'd you like? What'd you not like? All that good stuff. But anyways, if you like what you see on this channel, hit the subscribe button to join Movie Emporium. Hit that notification bell at the top to find out what's coming next. If you like this video, awesome. Hit that like button. And of course, we'll see you guys on the next video. Peace out.